Good morning, Transformative Adventures folk. I know I have been sort of missing, and I'm sorry. It's my bad, really. But I do miss your companionship on the PDC and all of that. And every now and again, I'm getting a chance to kind of poke around on Facebook. But my life has gotten extraordinarily busy, and doing work out here in my little homestead project this time of year is pretty demanding, on top of a industry job and taking care of some other stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough as I just finish mowing the paths in my little nature hole. That's kind of what I've come to call this sort of food forest zone 2-3-ish area in my yard. So I'll flip this around. I'll give you the walking tour. So there's my lawnmower. This is what I didn't get mowed, but I got about a third of the way done with my steps for today. All right, this is the nature hole. So some great views of some guilds that are establishing. I don't know, we got a sand cherry, various chives and garlics and what do you call those? Shallots, that's what those are. Right there's some ramps that we imported from up north and are doing quite well. Of course, what are these? You know what those are. Look at how crazy. Look, we got fruit already coming. Some comfreys. I pretty much don't do much to this except for once in a while I get some creeping grasses up in there. Oh, look, nurse logs, lots and lots of nurse logs. Anyway, I don't know. I tend to brain fart when I'm on the pressure. So, and of course some daylilies. Anybody know how to make irises flower? I stole those out of the garbage and they've been in there for 3 years or something, and they still haven't shot up any kind of flowers. And this is a new guild here that I'm working on. This geranium is a wonderful ground cover. It's supposed to be edible too, but it's not very palatable. But anyway, that fills in usually this whole area right here, but we got some grasses creeping in, it looks like. Watch out for the alligators. What do you think there, Florida folk? Dennis? I got them up here in Michigan too, but yep. And my son calls this particular, we got this for our anniversary 1 year from our parents, on my wife's side. My son said it's the creepiest thing he's ever seen, and that it looks like it's saying in a creepy voice, soon. Sorry. And I think that's Cornelian cherry. And down here, some blueberries. Finally getting some height to them. This whole area floods. Well, up until last year, and I put over there, I don't know if you can see it in the video, I put like a drains into a lower area on the other side of the driveway to kind of save my driveway. It was washing my driveway out last year. But this year I feel that we're going to have a really dry year, so summer. So prepare. It's just my guess. So anyway, we get all kinds of cool things down here in the nature hole. From cardinal flowers to bonsai, some really cool grasses, and so many things that I don't even know yet. Of course, cattails. I put some Joe Pie weed in there last year. I don't know if it's gonna make it, but I'd love to see that. I think that's a really cool combo, the Joe Pie weed and cattail combo. Plus there's all kinds of things you can do with Joe Pie weed, I guess. So anyway, you'll see some. This is one of my favorite spring munches. Bloody dock, blood vein sorrel, whatever you want to call it. Looks like I can split it. We've got some pawpaws. And these little pawpaws down here, I stuck those in the ground because I've been having trouble with seedling starts. And this guy here is from some major greenhouse. And I had hoped that maybe they would do some wonderful things with each other and say, oh, I'll help you keep going. And it looks like, I don't know, there was like 4 of them here, and it looks like maybe only one's gonna make it. These are all from Mike. Mike gave me these seedlings. Some horseradish. What do you call these guys? No, I'm freaking loving them for a ground cover. Not crocus, but the wintertime one, saffron. Yeah. Some red clover ground cover. In there is, there's one poking up. Asparagus. What would a cat rescue sort of guy be without loads and loads of catnip? What do we see? Horseradish, and sea kale. Thank you, Mike. More horseradish, asparagus. All along that edge, and the sun catcher is where I put my annuals that are most delicious, like tomatoes and peppers. Eventually, this is all going to be quite, mid-level brush. Maybe, I don't know, about this high. And then I got some larger, these existing trees. These cherries probably won't live much longer. They don't tend to do. Maybe they will, who knows. And I'll leave them as long as they want to hang out. Anyway, I got backup of pawpaw and what is it? Black locust back behind them. But it'll be a long time before they get big. And what do we got there? Good King Henry. This is not dead, I hope. That is a persimmon, I think. I think they're late to start leafing out. More blood vein sorrel. This is where I like to put amaranth and stuff right now, kind of as this develops into a more permanent edge. I got some really cool sort of tomato things that I'm putting in this year that I'm hoping will be self-seeders. So this is a Siberian ginseng. Something I bought on a whim years ago, and it's doing pretty good. I haven't got around to trying its medicinal value, which is supposed to be sort of a stimulant, general tonic. Of course, we got wild strawberries. What else we got in here? This is a pear guild. Pear. I think that's a sand cherry. I think this is a sand cherry. And more of those Siberian shrub levels. And a great big old, oh, looky there. East lunch, breakfast, whatever. Turkish rocket. Comfrey. What do we got up here? We have bee balm, a wild type, that blue stuff that grows all over out here. There used to be a giant patch of them there, and over the years it's sort of lost itself to the overgrowth. And so I saved a little piece a couple years ago and put it over here to kind of protect it. Beautiful plant. Man, I love that rocket. We got Angelica, I believe. I forget too much. More pawpaw coming. Yes. Grasses. So this is what, I don't know what kind of grass this is, but it seems to be a clumper. So I'm thinking that, and it doesn't spread awfully fast. So I'm thinking that's going to be a maintained biomass accumulator. And you got some more wild stuff. Just happens to be edible. Just happens to be a great biomass accumulator. What else we got? Oh, this is one of my favorite things right here. Parsnips. I planted this patch 3 or 4 years ago. Self-seeding. You have to learn which ones, you know, when you dig them up. Some of them are going to be woody, some of them aren't. But geez, this is all food I don't even have to mess with. Love it. And what do we got here? Another persimmon. Yarrow. I am very fortunate to have her here because that's what grows native. Here's some self-seeders. Breakfast. Anyway, she, as compared to commercially grown ones, is a thug. So I take a little chunk of her and I spread her around, and I have way less work to do as far as getting, well, of course there's bare ground there, that's bad, but you see that right there? That's how I plant squash. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. It does. Echinacea. And this is a, you know, that super fruit that everybody raves about. But unfortunately, all the ones that I got apparently be male, and I don't really know how to tell the difference if anybody can tell me. But I don't know, I've been stealing the runners and putting her out there someplace along so the goats can nibble. Egyptian walking onion, more comfrey, more horseradish. This fills up totally. This is a little red clover there. Ornamentals from Mom's. Got to get her cleaned up. I thought this would make the color would make a nice entryway, but they're struggling as they were just hacked out of the ground not too long ago. And this is like one of my favorite gardens. It really makes great tomatoes. Oh yeah, it looks like the dogs are helping with fertilization. So this is something that I didn't know happened. I planted collards last year for the first time, and I left them in the ground. Look what's happening. Of course, it looks like they're going to bolt quickly, but hey, looks like I get seeds. Anyway, at least. Plus, I've already nibbled, of course. Egyptian walking onion, lots of creeping Charlie. It's sure it's a pain in the butt, but it's a lot of biomass. When I go through and sort through this, you know, it's work, but I don't have to work. All these perennials will poke through it. But so anyway, oh yeah, the only perennial that doesn't quite like this, you know, creeping Charlie sort of guild is this baby. It's another bee balm. I don't know if you can see, did I point at it right? I'm gonna have some more of this to eat. Some wild brassicas. Go for it. So I've been mulching in order to control. What do I do with some of my waste streams? Well, one of my waste streams is goat bedding, and since it's not like super hot, and like Meg said in the PDC, ruminants have a different kind of bacteria than, say, pigs and that sort of thing. And so it leaves us with less to worry about, especially if you leave it on top of the ground, I believe, because the sun does its magic. There's my echinacea patch. You can see the little fortress plantings that seem to be working. It's quite beautiful early in the spring. Got a long ways to go. Another one of my favorite fortress plants. Unfortunately, they don't work all that well, but they sure can take the damage, and they sure do. They're thugs. That's why they work as fortress, I guess. Some more fortress plants that I'm going to get spread around. I believe those are going to be good fortress plants, some kind of ornamental alum. So here's a good question for all of you who, like I say, I got that big pawpaw over there in the back. That was from some big greenhouse superstore. And so is this one, except for the graft died off. Anybody know what variety that they use for rootstock? But we're going to leave that there and see what happens, no matter what. So yeah, I don't do the chip mulching thing in my paths. It's just I'd rather, I guess, fight the grasses with fortress plants. So this is the hardest garden I have. These two in the front. Because of the driveway and all of this stuff that, seas or whatever washes down through here, and the rocks. We have to make some sort of semblance of civilization out here to help people understand what it is I'm trying to do. But anyway, so I get all these grasses up in here, hard to fight. And they creep their way up into here. So the fortress plant of choice, I think, is going to be, of course, violets and this ajuga. Now you can see how well, you can see that it is actually working, and plus it survives out here where this soil is absolute terrible. It'll creep out to about in this area. I'm hoping to fill this whole grassy area with them someday. Oh yeah, I haven't done any weeding yet this year. I'm fixing to. It's about my second mowing, and that's about when I do it. This is all echinacea in this area. Got another one of those cornelian cherries, or whatever you call pollarded, pollarded mulberry. That was all experimental for learning about my tree hay work, and plus it makes for, when it leaves out, it really looks kind of cool being topped off like that. So I was topping off one year and going every other year to see if I could get them to fruit, and if it seems like every other year seems to work, but I don't know if that was just some kind of fluke. I'm not going to live long enough to really understand it. There's grapes climbing up in there. You know what you're supposed to do. Mullen. Okay, so that's my zone 2. 1, 2. I don't know what you want. I'm in it fairly often. This is the entrance of my house. I'm sorry to say, EJ, that this beautiful garden has escaped due to dog influence. Dogs like to walk down through here, and I just don't have the energy to fight them. So we're just gonna go through. A lot of it is, there's perennials up in there, but this used to be a great big carpet of purple, if EJ remembers. I'll have to go through and weed that out one of these days. That's a fail. It used to look similar to this over there. What's gonna come up here are, this is a almost no work garden. I let the wild plants play here, and tend the, for crying out loud, milkweeds. See, well, this is what I get. You see that? And that's why my garden's, yeah, well, anyway. What do I say? Milkweeds, and then what's the other spring edible that's coming? I think that's it right there. Lamb's quarter. Here it is. And of course, these are daylilies. Wonderful, edible. Not edible as far as what was that called? Jacob's ladder, I believe. It makes pretty things. This is my early spring vegetable garden. Nettles. Lesson learned. Do not plant nettles even in zone 2. For sure not in zone 1. That was like, this all started like in a little bitty, like right underneath that little apple tree. This is going to be a root cellar someday when I find more time and money. I started out with a, an idea of, what you call it? The sandbag construction. I forget what the right words is. But nettles, lots to eat, but man, are they vigorous. And they move right on in everywhere, but they are awfully delicious. So are fiddleheads, and so are, I wonder, there might be up. Yeah. In here is the rhizomes of blind cats. I haven't seen yet, and they're sporadic. The first couple of years they came up like crazy, but not so much. This is my zone 2 work area. It's where all the nasties come with raising goats. I'm not going to show you the inside this time. It's ramshackles in there. A little garden, little rain garden. It's remnants of the root cellar fiasco. There's my zone 1 garden over there. We'll get over there in a minute. This is the duck sanctuary. This is where I'm composting cat shit this year. I moved it up closer to the house. Can you imagine that? It seems to be working because I can get at carbon material quicker and easier. And I didn't bind it up in like a container this year, so I could get in there with a tractor and fluff it up occasionally. Seems to be working. It's not awful yet. It's not the middle of the summer yet either. So future waterworks all takes time and money, of which I don't have a whole lot of these days. This is the duck sanctuary. I'm coordinating, cutting this off for the ducks. They integrate when they feel like it that way, and the ducks feel a little safer. Sometimes they lay me some eggs. I think they like underneath my porch better than anything I've built so far. But anyway, you can see where I have lots of, there is some slope here that I can do the passive swaling with the logs. And that's all in the plan. I got plenty of material for sure. So this is zone 3, or this is like the beginnings of zone 3 up in here. For the the woods management. It's going to go, you can see my mushrooms logs over there. That's the official zone 3 area, and then it'll be zone 4 with more pawpaws and such later, and then 5 will be the way out back. So this is there's a hedge that I'm building as sort of a barrier, or sort of and these guys are going to get cut out this high to make a fence that sort of defines space. Of course, you can see the guilds starting to build from hostas to Solomon seal. I got some more cherries back there. Got some, what are those called? God, I don't know. I always forget. This is our messy little social area. This is how I handle, this is my zone 1. It's not as far along as I would like, but it's coming. You can see I got some stuff coming. I think we're still in transition here because of the proximity to the woods, as far as soil dominated, what the soil is dominated by. And plus it was really compacted, and because for about 12 years of mowing back here. I don't do that much anymore. I just mow a path with my little push mower. This is getting closer to what I want to see back here. But yeah, so got some. You can see the water comes off. It's kind of makeshift at the moment, but eventually it'll get straightened out. Baby steps. So I got all these barrels plumbed together, stationed at little places where they're easily accessed. You can see the skeeters in it. We'll do something about that when the water gets a little warmer. My spiral that's starting to come in. I'll put some more seeds in it this spring. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so this is getting long, so I'm going to hustle out to zone 3, which is supposed to be our production areas. This is my spirit spot where I haven't done much spirit work, it looks like, huh? It's a crazy world. Oh yeah, so the hedge over the septic. So here's what we're doing. We're filling these with logs. I got potatoes in this area. I have. Ooh, did you see my pollutants? It's not my fault. Yes, it is. So anyway, we're filling them with wood. Garlic for days. Filling them with wood. Okay, now I'm going to take some of that freshly, not totally composted compost and lay it in here and let the rain kind of work it in, and then I'm going to take some of the better topsoil and throw on top of that. It'll be sort of a hugel barrel, and hopefully that'll do the trick. I'm going to put some tough species in this, like mulberries, and for sure some autumn olive, because they're pretty dang tough, and they'll be able to take the occasional browse. You can see how I'll be able to separate the goats when I want to separate the goats from the hedge. Yes, more stinging nettle. This is gonna be another hedge. We're approaching zone 3, okay, and it's still a mess. Hazels. I forgot what that is. Goji berry, I think. And there's roses in here that are just starting to get better, or get themselves established. It's hit and miss. I'm starting from seed and I just kind of scatter them. That's just me. That's how I do things. Some more stuff here. This is, oh, I had a great picture that I didn't take. So this used to have nurse logs around it to kind of define the space, and it was filled with Jerusalem artichokes. Well, over the years it decayed like this, and there was a big old Jerusalem artichoke essentially splitting the log for me. It was interesting, and I didn't take the picture. Wish I would have. So of course we have plenty of these mints. Another mint, catnip, of course. This is going to be, the perennials in here are, and I'm not seeing any because I harvested a few, are asparagus, real live mint. These guys, my chop and drops, some more chop and drops. So these are probably turnips. And I scatter turnip seeds all over around here. Some more. This is all in development. This is really kind of embarrassing, but here's my little nursery for baby trees that I get in the spring. That's last year's batch. We got to get those all along that edge there. Or maybe I'm going to throw them along this fence row. Those are hazels. And we're setting up over here. So here's a, slash mulch garden, right? And those are all the self-sown annuals that survived from last year. Like I say, I got all kinds of, no, for crying out loud. That stuff over there with the front ferny leaves. Oh, look, more nurse logs. Okay, this is how we built this. We're kind of slowing the water a little bit. And these are all hugel beds. Hugel beds work really well for me. So, I don't know, anyway. I don't argue too much with folks about it. I just know how it works for me. And it works. We got some hops coming up. Anyway, putting up some vertical space for this garden. It's going to be 3 sisters all along this edge. Medicinal crops will be in here along with a lot lower structured plants that will be maybe beneficial. But we're getting around to it. Slow but sure. Thanks for listening. Love you all.